Welcome to the Everyday Why the channel, where we uncover the hidden logic behind the things you see every single day, but rarely question. Simple stories, clear explanations, no jargon. Today, we're stepping onto the open ocean.
Yeah, we are. And it's specifically to answer this question that kind of nags at anyone who's ever stepped onto a boat or a plane for that matter.
Right, the unit change. Because you drive to the marina in kilometers or miles, but the second the captain takes the wheel, everyone is suddenly counting in knots. I mean, it feels like one of those stubborn nautical
Like
traditions.
bell bottoms.
Exactly. Or talking like a pirate.
It definitely feels like a relic.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at the mechanics behind it, it's not just tradition. It is really this brilliant hack from the days way before GPS.
Because back then, I mean, knowing your speed wasn't about avoiding a ticket. It was literally about survival.
Right, you have no satellites, no digital screens.
Correct.
It's just wind and water out there.
If you didn't know your exact speed, you couldn't calculate how far you had traveled. And if you're off by even a tiny margin, you miss the island entirely.
Yeah, you miss the island and you run out of food. You starve. The stakes were incredibly high.
So without a modern speedometer, they had to invent one using just what they had on deck.
Which was basically a rope and a sand timer. They created this device called a log. It was a wooden board weighted on one side so it would float upright, and it was tied to a really long spool of rope.
And this is where the actual knots come into play, right? They literally tied knots in the rope.
At very specific intervals, yes.
Mhm.
The knots were spaced exactly 47 feet and 3 inches apart.
That sounds so incredibly precise. Why not just round up to 50 feet?
Because they were pairing it with a specific sand timer. It was usually a 28-second glass. So it's an exact mathematical ratio.
Oh, I see. So the distance of 47 feet and 3 inches is to 28 seconds, what 1 nautical mile is to 1 hour.
You've got it. They essentially built a physical calculator. So a sailor throws the piece of wood overboard, it grips the water, and the ship sails away, pulling the line out.
While the sand is running.
Right. While the sand runs, you just count the physical knots that slip through your fingers.
So if 10 knots go by in that 28 seconds, you were moving at 10 nautical miles per hour.
10 knots. Exactly.
Okay, that explains how they measured it perfectly, but it doesn't really explain why they used that specific distance. Like, why go through all the trouble of calibrating a rope for nautical miles instead of just standard miles or kilometers?
And that is the real aha moment here. It's not about the rope at all. It's about the map. Because the Earth is a sphere, a circle. So it's 360 degrees.
And each of those degrees is divided into 60 minutes.
Right. And 1 minute of latitude on the globe equals exactly 1 nautical mile.
Oh, wow. So the unit isn't arbitrary at all. It's physically tied to the planet's dimensions.
It is the Earth's own ruler. If you're navigating a chart, which is just a grid of latitude and longitude, and you try to use standard statute miles, you have to constantly do these messy math conversions to figure out where you are.
But if you use knots, the math completely disappears. If a ship travels 20 knots for an hour, it has covered exactly 20 minutes of latitude.
Yep. You just look at the chart, count 20 lines up, and boom, that's exactly where you are. It aligns perfectly with the geometry of the world you're actually traversing.
That is the ultimate efficiency play. It just completely eliminates the translation layer between the speedometer and the map.
And that is exactly why airplanes still use it, even up at 35,000 feet. A pilot is navigating the exact same latitude and longitude grid as a ship captain.
So we aren't hanging on to the past for nostalgia. We kept it because it is quite literally the most logical interface for global navigation.
The technology changed? Sure. We swapped sand timers for sophisticated flight computers. But the geometry of the Earth didn't change. As long as we navigate by degrees and minutes, knots will remain the standard.
It is just wild to think that a system invented by some anxious sailor counting wet rope on a wooden deck is still guiding the most advanced aircraft in the sky today.
Sometimes the old ways stick around, not because we're stubborn, but because they got it exactly right the first time.
Makes you wonder what other invisible rulers are shaping our everyday lives right now without us even noticing. If you enjoyed this story, like the video and subscribe for more everyday mysteries explained simply. See you in the next one.